Good morning. Welcome to Monday edition of Hobby Evolution, episode 311. Monday, back to reality. Not much to talk about today, although a little bit. I made a kind of an unplanned trip yesterday to a flea market, so I'll talk about that. It wasn't all for naught, which I'll share some details. I was doing some shopping on Facebook Marketplace. So yesterday I mentioned I'm a buyer. So I picked up on Saturday 15 mega boxes from a Facebook group. I threw some offers at a couple people yesterday, and I bought 18 more. So I will have a total of, I think, 51 will be my total mega box count. I bought 18 from Target Online. I've opened 8 of those. So I still have, I think, 10 unopened. We're going to have a rip party on Thursday night. So we'll probably open the rest of them on Thursday night. What's up, Dan? Good morning. Big money on Bowman. I love Bowman. And Bowman to me is like, it's almost the fun. Like I feel there's good value, and we talked about this on Twitter yesterday with a couple people where, what's up, Zach? Good morning. Where it's kind of a no lose with Bowman because historically, and especially over the last 10 years, there was one year, 2015 Bowman. 2015 Bowman was kind of a crappy product. 2008 Bowman, I think, was a crappy product, but generally speaking, Bowman is it's great return. I just love opening it. So there's that entertainment value for me. And then what my strategy is for Bowman is Austin Martin and Blaze Jordan right now are hot. And typically the hot guys at release aren't the hot guys once things settle in 3 years. 2017, perfect example. Kevin Maitan was the guy in 2017 Bowman. Guess who else was in that product that nobody bought at release? His name, Ronald Acuna. So there's always those diamonds in the rough. Jared Kelenic was a guy that, you could get a first Bowman Chrome at release for, a couple bucks. And then they shot up to like 20 to 40 before he made his debut. He's struggling now. So those prices have dropped, but there's always fun. So what I like to do, my strategy with Bowman, what's up, Brad? Good morning. My strategy with Bowman is rip it, flip the hot guys. Right now I'm selling Austin Martin. I'm selling Blaze Jordan. The rest, I'm just going to kind of stuff away in a box. And in 2 or 3 years, there could be another Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna, and we've seen it over and over with guys that, were nobody wanted at release, but then all of a sudden they explode and climb the prospect charts, and all of a sudden they go from a $1 card to a $25 card, which I was surprised. I was going through a box. Speaking of that, I was going through a box over the weekend. We were watching some Netflix, and I found a couple of, I was big on ONeil Cruz, and I still think he's going to be a stud. I was big on ONeil Cruz, and anytime I was digging through quarter boxes, I would pull ONeil Cruz. Apparently at some point I pulled a couple first Bowman Chrome refractors of ONeil Cruz, and I'm like, I'm just going to check out what these prices are. And they're like $30 cards. And I think I pulled them out of a quarter box, a year or two ago. Well, it probably was 2 years ago because it would have been the pre-COVID era. So that's why I love Bowman. That's why I love Bowman, and I keep buying mega boxes. I think I'm done. I think 51 Bowman mega boxes is enough. Will I rip them all? That's a great question, because I'm going to rip a majority of them now. But I probably will leave some sealed just because they seem to, every Bowman mega box has increased in value. Last year's are probably the weakest price point, but you're going to see that as time goes on. And I think I touched on this yesterday. As time goes on, those values increase. So right now you can get a 2020 mega box for about $80. But going back further, they're going to be 100, 120, 150, depending on the year. So that's my Bowman Mega story. Hopefully I'll get those this week. Again, we're going to have a rip party Thursday night. So I want to do something fun. And that was kind of inspired by George and I having the Bowman Mega box war on Saturday morning. So I want to do something fun when we're opening on Thursday night and try to play along, either doing a video or at least tweet results of our breaks, because Offbeat All-Stars and Ripping One-Handed are coming over on Thursday night. We're going to have a big rip party. Update on the NBA Hoops premium stock Pulsar sets. So somebody on my local marketplace had them down to $200 a set. They were $150 at release. Those have really dropped in price. Fortunately, I have my co-promoter Johnny for the Madison Card Show. We can bounce ideas off each other. He talked me out of it without actually talking me out of it, because he texted me last night. He goes, "So did you buy those premium stock?" I said, "No, you talked me out of it." So I was thinking hard about it. It was going to be a long-term play. And by long-term, I mean, 6 months, 4 months, whenever basketball gets hot again, if it gets hot again. So that's kind of that was where the hang-up lied. Johnny said he's like, I'm sitting on a bunch in monster boxes. He ripped all his, graded some of the top guys, sold some of the others. And so I pieced all mine out, but at the same time, it's like, it's not that hot product. Basically now it's just going to be about the rookies. It's kind of a niche product. Well, it is a niche product. Is it going to keep its, will it be a popular product? And that's kind of a gamble, and I don't want to take that gamble. So decided to not buy the premium stock silver sets that were in my local marketplace. So yesterday I went to a flea market. Dan wants a Leon Durham story. I don't think I have a Leon Durham story. I did meet him at Club 400. But I don't think he actually wasn't feeling well at Club 400 and left early. He sat there and he talked to fans and then signed autographs, but I don't think he stuck around for like the Q&A session. So that's about the only time I've met Leon Durham. Maybe a Cubs convention signing, but I didn't meet him in the hotel or anything, in like the hotel bar where a lot of players are hanging out. So I don't really have a Leon Durham story. So I went to a flea market yesterday. So Johnny, we were texting yesterday morning about the basketball. He's like, me and my wife are going to Mineral Point to a flea market. I'm like, oh, Crazy Frank. So I've been to Crazy Frank's, and that's where I bought like a die cast Cubs like pickup truck, like not a Matchbox, but a bigger scale, like that big. So they did have some cards, and it was like hit or miss. Like they had and it's a large indoor flea market, but they do an annual like huge outdoor / indoor flea market, and that's what was going on this past weekend. So when I went about a month ago, they had cards, and it was like they kind of had cards like for every budget, I should say. So the first room I went into, so it's actually just a bunch of it's like 3 big farm outbuildings. I guess that's the best way to explain it, like a machine shed type building. So in the one building where I went, like you walk into the center, so you have to like pick and choose which are you going to go right, are you going to go left. So I went left, and Leon, Jody Davis, and Ron Say would get all the ladies back in the day. So I took a left, and that's like where I found some junk. I actually did find some there were like sandwich bags of like junk wax era for like $2. And I think they were team sets. There were a couple like 90 Fleer Cubs, and for $2, it's like I should buy it, because $2 for probably 25 cards, that's a decent, when you're out and about, I wouldn't pay that like online with shipping, but when you're out and about, I'll pay that. So I passed on that. There were some other like just quirky items. It's like, I don't need that. I don't want that, I should say. So then I circled back, and then there was like, I mean, basically, like, I shouldn't say crazy overpriced because it's basically the market now. Like 90 tops, I think 90 tops wax box for $50 is a crazy price, but that's actually what they sell for. Like people are buying those. We're buying those a few months ago. I don't think that's still the market. I'll have to look. But I don't think those crazy $50 for 90 tops wax boxes are still there. But I still think that's a crazy price, even though that was the market at one point. So passed on that. And then as I was walking out, like at the cash register, they had a glass case, and there was like high end, like you would think like a flea market, it would be, if there was high end, it would be like vintage, but no, it was like ultra modern. It was like Zion color rookie, and I did I actually went back in the car. For some reason, I don't like comping on my phone, like in front of the items. Sometimes I'll do it like at a flea market, or when I go to Goodwill, I'll do it, and I don't, it's not a thing, but I don't know, for some reason, I just don't like comping in front of like the item. So I went to my car, and because I was done, and I like didn't want to buy anything besides that Cubs car. So I bought the Cubs car, went out to my car, checked the comps on those Zions, and they were actually, you could buy them cheaper on eBay. And this was like probably 5-6 weeks ago, and the prices on that stuff have come down. So glad I didn't make a decision to buy any of that. So Johnny was at Crazy Frank's. It was their big one. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go check this out. I didn't have anything planned for Sunday, so I'm like, I'm gonna run to the flea market. I'm gonna go out there. So as I'm like driving, Johnny's like, dude, it sucks. This is terrible. It's junk and it's overpriced. And I'm like, well, I'm on my way anyway. So I get to Mineral Point's like, I don't know, an hour, maybe an hour 10 from me. Dodgeville's about 45 minutes to an hour. Before Mineral Point, there was a sign, Dodgeville Antiques and Flea Market. And I'm like, I'm going to check this out. So I go, and it stunk. Like I didn't even go to Mineral Point because I was like I was like disappointed with the Dodgeville Flea Market. So I went in, and it was just anything and everything except for sports memorabilia and cards. What's up, Mark? Good morning. I thought, like, when I first walked in, the first table I went to had a bunch of like vintage toys and stuff, and I'm like, hey, this is a good sign. Usually toys and sports kind of commingle, but they didn't yesterday. So I went through, and I was just kind of power walking because there was like nothing that I was interested in. Went around. There was a binder of cards. It was like 2008 Topps football. But it was like mostly commons. There was an 89 Donruss binder for like $20, but all the good stuff is basically only the Griffey, but like the rookies were pulled. So that was, junk. And then when I circled back around through the middle, there was a vendor who had a bunch of old programs. And I kind of like old programs, and I've thought about doing a side Cubs program or yearbook run. But it's like, it's not something I want to sink a bunch of money into. So I was looking through, and they were like overpriced. I mean, we're talking like for a 1981 program, it was like $15, where, I can probably find 10 of them in a lot for $15 shipped on eBay. So there was just really nothing there. They were so overpriced that I wouldn't have, negotiate at these things, but it's like, these are so overpriced. Like they would probably consider my offer a lowball. I'm not even going to offer because I didn't. If it was something I wanted, yes, I would have thrown an offer, but it was not anything. It's one of those items where if it's priced at the right price or close enough to the right price, you're interested. But at this price and this item, just wasn't interested. So I left empty-handed, didn't buy anything. But it's a small, so Dodgeville's like 5,000 people. There's a Walmart there. So I'm like, well, I'm going to swing by the Walmart just to see, people aren't flipping Bowman. So maybe there's some Bowman blaster boxes. So I go, and this Walmart still has like the entire card section, like the long card section. And it was all Magic and Pokemon. There half of it was sports cards, but they were just empty display boxes. I think there was one blaster of Topps opening day, and then there was a bunch of the 2020 Topps team sets. But there's really no, and you would buy those for like rookies, but there's no rookies in 2020. But I've seen like some Walmarts have had like random 2018 Angels sets. So that has like Ohtani. So there was nothing in the complete sets, but they did have a whole bunch of these penny sleeves. So I did buy 30,000 penny sleeves, 2 months ago? But I bought like the wide sleeve because the place that I bought them, they were out of the standard sleeves. But I was just using most of these for my quarter boxes. So I'm not putting them in top loaders because the wide sleeves don't fit in a top loader. So I'm basically out of standard sleeves. So I did a price check, and these were only $5.98 for 500, so just over a penny a piece. It's hard to find them for a penny a piece these days. So I bought 6 of those. So now I have some. So these I'll use for like when I sleeve up Bowman. So I can slide them into top loaders. I plan on doing a dollar box at my next card show on June 26th. So I can slip, cards into top loaders with these. So the trip was not all for naught. I did buy some penny sleeves at Walmart. Mark said I pick up programs, yearbooks, and press guides if the price is right, not a priority. Yep, that's exactly how I go about those. Dan said my friend presented Fisk's yearbook to Fisk at a signing, and the story was hilarious. I have a cool program framed with my ticket stub from the last day at the old Comiskey. I've heard Fisk is a picky signer. He doesn't sign certain things. So that's basically, and I had a mail day Saturday. I did not show this off yesterday. Michael McAveen, first Bowman Chrome auto from this year. This is from this is from this year, 2021. I'm thrown off by this year's products because they don't have, like, especially for prospects, they don't have 2020 stats because they didn't play minor league baseball last year. So his last stat line is 2019. So I'm like, oh, this is a 2020. No, this is a 2020 Bowman Chrome first. Michael McAveen auto. Picked it up for a really good price. So that was my mail day. I think I have another Ed Howard coming. Should be delivered today. I used some eBay gift card from last week's birthday to pick up some of the Cubs stuff on eBay. So that's what I had for today. This is my friend who has all but 80. Oh yes, that is an amazing story. So Dan's friend is a collector that is collecting every ticket stub that Carlton Fisk played in, and he's only missing a handful. That's like a collect. That's like an all like lifetime like achievement. And Dan Appleton, sorry. I saw did I miss that initial tweet? Yes. Did you know about that Appleton show? So I'm semi-familiar with the Appleton show. I think it's been an ongoing show. Appleton's like 2 hours away from me, 2.5 hours away from me. So there are I haven't even been to Milwaukee shows yet. I do try to, in Milwaukee's about 90 minutes for me. So I try to make it I want to make it to a Milwaukee show. There's another show. I don't know if I'll ever go to the Appleton show just because of the drive. And yeah, I think it is a smaller show. There's one in Oconomowoc, That's a bigger show. The Oconomowoc show is actually put on by the people that did the Wisconsin Dells big 3-day show a month ago. And they're doing another one in the Dells in August. So Oconomowoc is a show that I might make maybe like in the winter months when there's not, when it's more of an indoor time period and it's not snowing or bad weather. I'll make it up there. So my card show schedule is basically my next show June 26th, and then we have another show the end of July. July, it's right before the National. July 24th, which is the weekend before the National. So maybe I'll get a few more bucks to use at the National. And then the National, of course. And then the show that I did in Rockford, they are actually doing a show the day after my June show. I was actually texting with the promoter yesterday. I'm not going to be able to make it just because I don't want to do 2 shows. I don't want to spend the entire weekend doing shows in the summer. Maybe fall, winter, I'll do that, but not in June. So they're switching locations and they're going to move dates around because we kind of want to collaborate. So he's going to move his show up to like the first or second weekend of the month. And then that way ours is, the end of the month. So that way we can kind of feed off each other. So he's going to do one like the first or second week in August. So I'll go back to that Rockford show. If you catch Neon at the right place and time, he's a good signer. He would frequent my Blockbuster when I was manager and would sign there. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the Oconomowoc show is a big one. It's a good show. Dion isn't the grump. Go to YouTube of Google Fisk and Dion. Old school versus Flash Dion. How many months ahead are you booked up for shows? So our Madison card show is booked through the end of the year. So our schedule is our next show, June 26th, July 24th, August 28th, September 25th, October 23rd, and November 27th. And then we're taking December off. And then October, November, we're going to look at 2022 dates. My fear is our rent price at the venue is going to rise. I wouldn't be surprised if it doubles in price because we got a great discount because COVID. There weren't any events going on. They weren't scheduling many events, so that's why we wanted to hammer down and lock in these dates to secure that pricing. We were able to get an extra discount based on multiple bookings. But I have a feeling that once 2022 hits, maybe we'll get some decent deals in January through March. Based on weather. There's not weddings, but then it is a nice venue. They do a lot of weddings at the Sheraton where we're in the ballroom. So I think we'll have a lot of 2022 to deal with. So yeah, Dan. I mean, it's something that we will probably discuss with them soon. But as far as locking in dates, we just kind of take it as it goes. I don't want to book monthly shows. Here's kind of my line of thinking. I don't want to book a whole year of 2022. Not really knowing where the market's going and how I think our show will continue to build steam, but how is the hobby going to be in 2022? Is there going to be a demand for a monthly show like these? So but it's also one of those where we want to capture some of the market where we want to be the go-to place. So when the market does dip further, that we're still the place to be for card shows, because I have a feeling in 2022, it's not going to be, card shows aren't going to be as popular this time next year as they are right now. So it's one of those things where right now card shows are popping up all over because there's demand. Look what happened in 1991, where card shows and card shops were popping up everywhere, but then demand died, and card shops closed. Card shows stopped in up until a few months ago. How many people were like, there's not a card show or a card shop within 3 hours or within 2 hours. But growing up, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, small town, and we had card shops, 3 card shops in a 12,000 population town 12 miles from us, 2 card shops in a town of 6,000, 1 card shop in a town of 1,000 right next to us. My small town of 800 people had card shows at our little small town community center. Like, they were everywhere. And then 1992 hit and things slid. 1994 hit, and then the hobby basically bottomed out. So that's just kind of what we're dealing with. And what we're thinking. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we don't want to get behind where we do, like Dan, you mentioned, like, pay for it now. So it's kind of that balance. Like, we don't want to lose out and lose good pricing and lose the card show where we could take advantage of the market and kind of be one of the top card shows in the area. But at the same time, we don't want to get locked in to all these dates, especially because we are going to have to pay more no matter what. And then we're locked into all this, and now we're losing money. And it's like, I do this for fun. Like, I do the card show. I like it for fun, but I don't want to lose money. I don't want to lose money. So Mark's going to be in Chicago, August 27th through the 29th, catching Cubs game. That said, oh shoot, I was hoping you would say you were going to like a Friday or Sunday game and you could drive up to Madison. We're only 2 hours from Wrigley. So Dan says, I never bought a box of cards when I was younger. I remember a box being $15 at a flea market, but didn't buy. By all of 22, I meant first 4 months. Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those where it's kind of a wait and see. So it is something we'll probably talk about. We'll probably start talking about it this week or in 2 weeks when we do our June show. Like, hey, what do we want to do? And it's another thing. We've only done 2 shows. So we're still kind of like, where do we want to go with it? Do we want, we've been in talks with a couple of, publicists / agents about autograph signers. That adds a whole bunch of more logistics to things. And now you've got sunken cost into, a signer, and, then you can, like, right now, just tables and admission, like, we're not going to lose money. But you bring autograph signers. Now we've got to, unless mom comes up and does security or put her at the front desk. But, then you have extra people. You have to have help. And so you have all these extra things. So we're just going to hold off for now, see where things go, and just kind of take it slowly. So mom is a bouncer. That's right. Yeah. So that's all for today. Happy Monday. Get back to work. Brad, are you going live? Check out Brad on the Texas Card Dude channel. I will have to watch in replay because I'll be hunkered down at my desk where I have to commute. So yes, Brad's going to be live. Check him out later this morning on the Texas Card Dude channel. Herman and Ken will be live tonight, 7 p.m. Central, on the 3B Collection channel. So check that out. Dan, who is Korean Cardboard on YouTube, he went live on Friday night, opened up a bunch of cool stuff. And George, it was great to see George. KBO Collections went live on Saturday. I had to watch George on replay yesterday morning. So check all those channels out. Have a great Monday. And tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'll be live tomorrow or not. Just kind of take it. Depends on if anything happens today in my hobby life. But may 50-50. I'm just going to say that when 50-50. Jeremy's way late, but good morning. Good morning, Jeremy. So that's all for today. Have a great one, and we might talk tomorrow.